And here we go.
But for me, it was Tuesday.
Holy Testicle Tuesday!
Tuesday. When you did The Great Escape,
Yeah.
was the attitude on the set that this is just another war film?
No, we were just there to make an adventure story. Nobody believed that 30 years later, Great Escape would still be one of the classic moments on television.
Awesome.
There's a longer cut of the Shell commercial. You have to look it up. It was like it was almost like a 1.5 minute. I don't know where it aired. It's a 1.5 minute commercial. Who made 90-second commercials back in the day, I guess?
Might have been like a Super Bowl ad or something.
I can see that.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Or gonna need a bigger boat.
Talking hard takes up a lot of space.
So do I. So do I.
Oh my! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy!
I want to shake.
All right, we're here. Let's do this. Oh my!
I already have a hot take.
You already have hot
Pops.
takes. All right.
Pops has got a shake. The commercial had a shake. Now I want
Yeah.
to shake. Ironcaster wants. We all
I
want
want
to
to
shake.
shake. It's Tuesday Shake Day.
I have my
Who needs tacos?
Dr. Pop's soda. They put Dr. Pop's on the cup, so it was kind of fun. But yeah, we're doing it, man. I could go for a shake, and you should keep talking about it. So Tuesday is here, and man, I am ready to talk hard, man. I needed today. Today's been a rough one for the old man. I have be honest with y'all, it's been a crazy day, having some stuff happening, but nothing stops me from coming and hanging out with you folks if I can avoid it and knock everything down in the way to get through those obstacles to get here to talk hard. So hope everybody out there is being blessed and having a good week. Ironcaster, my friend, first time you've seen this one. Can't wait to hear more about it.
All I'm thinking about now is the greatest shake.
The greatest. Oh, I see. Mr. Puns. He's kicking in and knocking down the puns. All right, then.
Wow, you really
I
milked
gotta
that
try.
one.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, no, this is one of many, I suppose at this point, World War II films that I've probably never seen, and it ultimately kind of stems from just sort of a general aversion to the subject of World War II for entertainment, for as a note of history, just because it's been hit on so many times. I've started to get sort of a fatigue from the very topic, because everything gets related back to it. You know, much like how we would say about Rome. Everyone from a political faction is relegated to some World War II faction themselves. There was no escaping from it, and so the general thought of, do I want to watch 3 hours of more World War II? Not really, but I am glad I did.
All right. Well, we'll work on the war genre with you, because let me just say, the knuckleheads that keep doing that obviously haven't even watched movies, because there are certain movies that just correlate a compare and contrast to who they're throwing the names to. It doesn't make sense. So, but good. I'm glad you enjoyed your experience, and we'll talk more about it for sure. SQUEEKA, also a first time experience for you.
Yes. Yes.
The great
It was a great movie until closer to the end. I know I was warned I was gonna cry, but I cried a lot. And I
We
apparently at the end there was times when I was watching it with Beard of Liberty, and I was squeezing his hand so hard he thought I was gonna hurt, hurt his fingers.
wow.
And like he's like, I swear you stopped breathing a few times. was it was a great movie. Except for I didn't like the fact there was no Yul Brynner. It needed some Yul Brynner. I don't know where you'd put him. I was just like, I told him, I was like, I'm gonna complain that there's no Yul Brynner. I'm disappointed.
I'll have to make sure that we make note of that. John Sturgis's biggest failure was not adding Yul Brynner to this movie. That's funny. So yeah, just take note, everyone. So we're on a Steve McQueen evolution with SQUEEKA, the great appreciated Steve McQueen movie. So Bullet and will be next, and then Tower Inferno. So there is a method to my madness of Magnificent Seven. Well, first off, we did Seven Samurai, which Magnificent Seven. Now we do this one. Then 5 years later, he does Bullet. With of course, then 6 years later, just Tower Inferno. So you got to have the whole. Because McQueen was bigger than sort of like two of our biggest celebrities, Loki. Like, who would we? I mean, he's bigger than like Cruise and someone else for that time, and I don't even know how to put that into words for people because it was sort of over when I was a kid. Like, I mean, Tower Inferno came out in '74, so 73, and I was a kid. But my mom, they were all goo still for Steve McQueen. It's I don't know. So it's imagine the two biggest celebs together, and that you're kind of at the caliber of Steve McQueen. So I don't know, but yeah, we're doing our part, aren't we, Loki? We're kind of encouraging the Steve McQueen love around here.
Oh yeah, and this this is a multi-year watch, so I usually watch this movie like once or twice. It's the only World War II movie you need, and the fact that we have assembled all of the bagged eggs here on Talk Hard, that SQUEEKA, IRONCASTER, Cooler, you bad eggs, Cooler.
Do I get the baseball glove?
You get the baseball glove and the ball, and IRONCASTER can be eyes, Cooler, eyes.
Yeah, he would be the Scotsman in that
Ives makes
situation
me
for sure.
so sad. Oh, Ives.
Because I recommend movies, aren't I?
My dad made me watch this when I was a kid. It's the reason why I got into motorcycles. It's the reason why I started riding motorcycles. Is because of the Steve McQueen scene. It's iconic. I ended up the last bike I bought. I ended up buying a bike that looked a lot like this. Had the same round headlight in the front, the same kind of body style. I was showing IRONCASTER a picture of that the other day on Twitter because I was like, dude, that's if you want a starter bike, that's a good starter bike. Even though I also told him it'd be dumb to get on a motorcycle or a murder cycle, as my warden used to call him. Murder cycle. Why are you riding that motorcycle? Murder cycle, whatever. No, and the fact that he was like Steve McQueen was like, I want to do the jumps, I want to do all this. I can't.
I thought so hard he got away when he did that jump. I was like, yeah.
Yep.
That's probably when I crushed Beard's hand. But yeah, I was. I'm telling you, the end of that movie was a wild ride. And then I can't even think about it. I'm gonna cry again.
So the only thing I wanted to point out too with that is just think about this is how big Steve McQueen is. He is actually on every single piece of merchandising, the motorcycle jump, the posters, everything. That is the iconic element in this. He is in this nearly 3-hour movie for a grand total of 16 minutes. That is insane. Like that is crazy. That I always go back to that as part of the iconic element and influence a film like this can have. So
Loki got captured by the Gestapo.
Oh, he's got to go to the cooler. He'll be back.
He's at the cooler. Okay.
He'll be back. So, we're gonna say IRONCASTER. You were ready. Chime in.
Oh, I was just gonna comment just how heart pounding like the last 45 minutes are of this film. Just all the build up we've had this whole like 2-ish hours just to set us up to this point.
This is the Steve McQueen collection on Blu-ray, and look at what he's on. Look at what's on the front. It's not a Mustang. It's not a Bullet. It's not anything like that. It is the bike. Why? Because this was huge. This was so freaking huge and still is, that even when you get the like collection and you got all the movies, it's got the bike on the front.
What are the 4 movies that are on that? Let me make sure I put the right link to the right one in it.
It is The Great Escape, The Magnificent Seven, The Thomas Crown Affair, and The Sandpills.
Yep. Yeah. So the link for that, folks, is in the description. You can get a copy over Amazon's there. Obviously, they also have a link there for The Great Escape Criterion Blu-ray and the book, the paperback book. So if you want to read the actual true story, you are well. So before we get too much further into this, I wanted to say hello to this wonderful chat. These people are amazing, and we've been going on. But Snorty, there he is, kicking in the door, holding it open for other folks. Thank you, Snorty. Great to see you. You lovable, adorable, crazy old polar bear. And Jacob Ironside, brother. Great to see you. And Jacob, folks, I will share out another link. Jacob and his family are going through just ridiculous, insane situation. They have to relocate. This is not some bizarre cry for finance. No, this is just the people that own the house are giving it to a relative, and it was unforeseen, and now they have to relocate. We did a Watch Your Story about Jacob's challenges and what he and his family go through just living day to day, let them know how to figure out how to do this. So they have a GoFundMe up, and it's crazy. We're thinking about you, man, praying for you, brother. You were amazing. Hang in there.
More prayers, bro.
Yeah, man. Penny is here. Great to see her. Lovely lady. Always awesome. Great to see all these wonderful folks out here saying hi. I love it. Love it. So doll eyes. I know there's the shark reference with the, Loki was quoting Quint. So, lots of shake love, right, Snorty? Like we could definitely do just shakes around here. So,
do the seal shake.
Fred's here.
Shake
Great to
hard.
see you, Fred. I often confuse the theme to Great Escape with the theme to Bridge or Bridge Recoil because they sound a little bit. And is anyone else going to admit, Ironcaster, SQUEEKA, you in particular, did the little music cues just stay in your head? Definitely after that first hour or so into the movie, because it's just do.
Yes.
Yeah. River Kwai is just as bad. And I totally agree, Fred. They are very similar enough. They're definitely earworms.
Well, the film itself has gone on to be so influential throughout other shows, other media. This idea, The Great Escape. I mean, it's been parodied plenty of times. And the first place my mind goes to was this Disney cartoon Recess, where its intro even kind of has some little sprinklings of that same sort of idea kind of worked into it.
This is also on the original Xbox. If you have an original Xbox, like a game buried somewhere over there, The Great Escape on the original Xbox, it has all of the music from the movie in it, so that when you're playing it, dude, it rocks. That The Great Escape on the Xbox, they may have done a PS2 and GameCube, I don't remember, but original Xbox, absolutely badass, and the soundtrack's there. So when you're playing it, all those beats, the nighttime music that's like, sounds evil, all that's in there. It's great. Absolutely.
Can multiple people play at the same time?
No, it's a one-player game.
Could you imagine having like a Great Escape for 2 or 3 of you could be playing something? That would be so epic.
There's a prison escape game that's like that.
Yeah,
where you can play with multiple people. But no, this is OG Xbox. This was 20 years ago. So,
Snorty with a recommendation. I have not seen The Great Raid. Thank you, Snorty. I will take your recommendation there and write that down. So he says that, and this are the great POW movies. Yeah. So Beard, there he is, brother. My apologies, Beard. I have messed up this guy's life twice now, so I don't want to say, man. Great to see you, brother.
I mess it up every day. It's all good.
Anyway,
I warned you.
He's already cursed.
yeah.
You did warn me. You did. I know you did, but I still wasn't ready. I'm never ready. And I don't do well with war movies anyways, because I'm just too squishy. So I was just like, don't get invested. Don't get invested. I got invested.
It's impossible. These guys are so good, and it's so believable. And you're like, man, I love these guys, and this guy that can barely see, and I love this guy. He's the short, little, tiny guy that loves to escape. And you're like, Oh,
James Coburn's character. I still always forget. I don't even know James Coburn's character, and I'm cheering for him. He's like an Aussie who gets away to Spain on a bicycle.
Yep.
It's so absurd and also brilliant at the same time. And so here's the thing. Again, SQUEEKA is you go through this pop culture journey with us, and you will see Loki lose his mind, and I just face palm and get so irate at people because they don't appreciate good writing and good directing. So this script is a phenomenal adaptation of the book, and John Sturges, who also directed Magnificent Seven, knows how to make an epic film. Because now you just like at Magnificent, you cared about the seven people, and you cared about how many of these men, like 10 of them. I mean, you're just like, you
The
don't even know
actual
all.
facts is only 2 of them.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
looked
You
it
can
up.
the rest of them could die, huh? Okay, I'm caring about a lot of them.
it's very sad.
Slasher Fred throwing down some facts here. Squeak McQueen, known horror fans in the 1950s, appeared in the original Blob, and some people would derogate that was kind of his nickname. They referred to him as the Blob because he ran away with the Paramount Studios wife. Just so you guys know. So yeah.
You know, this film overall has a superb cast, and beyond just Steve
incredible.
McQueen.
Yeah, this is James Garner. That's what Sorky's talking about. The Scrounger is James Garner.
Yeah, and you don't get stuff. I mean, the closest you get to this is like Ocean's 11.
Ocean's
movies, and that it doesn't come anywhere close to this. Still, these guys all went on to have long, glorious careers where they were all idolized and looked up to. All these guys could do whatever movie they wanted to, and they're all here in one movie.
One of the things I love about the older actors is they're true actors to me. Like, I feel like current movies are so, I don't know, CGI'd up or fancy. I feel like there's not as much acting or facial expressions or like, gosh, who was the Danny? I don't know the actor's name.
Charles Bronson.
Yeah,
Charles Bronson.
He was claustrophobic and just the look in his eyes, the way they would animate themselves, like I feel like that's lost today, and it was just that's what makes you vested is because the way, like, even when they're surveying when they first get there and they're looking around and surveying their surroundings, or McQueen's character is Hilts is throwing the ball and just kind of catching it, and you catch yourself part of the movie with them because they're so animated. It's easy to read and it's easy to feel right alongside with them.
They were a different category of actor. They were a different quality. I mean,
yeah. Recently, we were was talking about the passing of Val Kilmer. We're a Loki stream. He was talking about Val Kilmer, and I made a comment in the chat. I didn't mean to stir up trouble with people, but it upsets them because I love Val Kilmer. I can list off Val Kilmer, but he was an a-hole in real life to work with. He would tell people he was a complete jerk to work with. He got into it with Brando. And Brando was like, took a cell phone out of his hand and threw it. So if you were half as talented as you think you are, you would have more Oscars than me, kind of thing. Like, it was just, these people of these generations took this craft very seriously. And that's what SQUEEKA is talking about. Like, this was a serious thing for the James Coburn and the James Garners, and just, keep going deep in this lineup. It's really quite phenomenal. So,
like with Val, he had to do a year. He had to do a year of therapy after he got done acting as Morrison. Because Jim Moore, he put himself in that man's life, is what he did to do that role. That's what he did. And it took him a year of talking and getting it all out of his damn head before he could just move on and go to do something else. He did the exact same thing with Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
That these guys were absolute true to their craft. Heath Ledger did it with the Joker. That's why he was all at the end when he did what he did, because they get so into it and so absorbed by it that they kind of lose where the role ends and they begin.
Chat, you guys are on fire. Yeah, Penny's bringing up the fact that McQueen was nicknamed the King of Cool. Yeah, I mean, he was just, everybody loved this cat, man. He was just something.
I thought he was the king of the cooler.
Well,
cooler.
Indeed.
Eyes. It's cooler.
So yeah, lots of great stuff. Where did Zach's comment go? Anyway, Zach's out there saying hey to the Talk Harders. Anyway, so yeah, thank you, Zach, for everything you do, man. Hail to you, brother. Hail to you. So, yeah, everything about it, you feel like very immersed into everything. So I think that every time I watch it, I'm picking up on little details on how clever and smart everyone is, and it's just really really fun um, to kind of be on that journey. I think with everything, you know what I mean. It's like I don't know, the idea of building it under the stove and then trying to have this is the 60s, so this would have been in the 40s when they were this is based on real life. So yeah, really really incredible stuff.
Well, the ingenuity of the string and the light bulbs, the air pump, how they got the pieces, all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was, when they discovered it at the end, I was like, no, 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 don't just walk away, don't ignore it, just walk away.
Yeah, Nas Loki was talking about this earlier, talking about some love for that game. So yeah, but great to see you, brother. So yeah, it is sort of like hard to watch how but it's a perfect structure to a film. There's so much setup, so much of attachment to all these different characters, and then of course tragedy starts with Ives, and then of course you end up with this whole myriad of situations of how they're going to overcome it, where Danny's claustrophobia comes to light, Bly's loss of eyesight comes to light, all these different things that are happening. And then, of course, the final thing is just chaos once they start tunneling out. And two or three things have gone wrong, and wow. Yeah.
And that one guy at the end, I'm like, just stay down. Like, I was like, please don't go anywhere, please don't go anywhere, please don't. And he sticks his head out, and I was like, no.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they do such a good job of bringing you into it with these characters to where there's such a clear goal for them. We need to escape this prison camp. It's so easy to get drawn in especially for these characters where they're all made so likable with their own unique personalities to them that these men all feel so real that you can't help but want to see them succeed.
Well, you come in kind of like the middle of their story too, because they had been together at other camps. They had like split up, got spread out, and then they all get brought back together here, and that's where the movie starts. Is them all getting brought together here because guess what? They were tired of, oh, well, we got to escape over here. We got to escape over there. These guys are doing this. We'll just throw all the bad eggs in one basket, kind of like Talk Hard, and see what happens.
I'm a very bad egg. I like the fact that while they talked about their past a little and all the escape, and they gave that tiny bit of backstory, there wasn't a whole lot of information about how they escaped or what they did or any of that. So when they started launching into their plan, and they're like, we're going to need 250 of these, and we're going to need this much, it's 300 feet away, and you're going to need this, like, and they're talking about all of the stuff that they're going to need. I'm like, holy moly, is that even possible? And then they start cranking it out, and you see them working on this suits. Like, these are masterminds. I was like, oh my gosh.
Well, when you're in prison, when you have nothing but time on your hands, you have all the time in the world to put in all the effort you can.
I mean, not in today's prison. I've been in prison.
And that Donald Pleasance thing you pulled up was talking about Halloween. Also, don't forget, he was the very first Blofeld in James Bond. At least the first one you saw the face of. It was always, he was always in the shadows before. He's the first one, and that eventually would be like Dr. Evil, and carried on throughout the James Bond franchise, and later in Austin Powers. That's what Dr. Evil is based off of. He's iconic. This is a huge guy. They're all massive stars. Every single one of them.
The president in Escape from New York. So he's had some time with our love for John Carpenter as well. And yeah, love this guy's work. He's done some good stuff for sure.
That's one of the things I love about not knowing a lot of these movies and the older ones is I don't know these stars. I don't know them as, ooh, Steve McQueen. I don't. And so to me, it's an amazing movie because I don't see them as big stars. I'm just like, wow, this guy's really freaking good. I can see why they're stars and why they're big headliners and stuff, but like, they're going through the credits and like starring Steve McQueen and starring James Garner and something Attenborough or whatever. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. There's no Yul Brynner, but it'll do. Just kidding.
She has a
But,
one-track mind. There's
I guess.
Beards and Yul Brenner. Just saying, we figured it out.
I'm just spoiled from the Magnificent Seven.
Uh,
But it was just, it to me, that makes it so much more amazing is with people that don't know the older crowd of actors. It still has such great watchability. It still has such great acting. And to, like I said, that's to me, that's amazing. That I
Mhm.
could sit here and throw this down to a younger generation, be like, I know you don't know any of these names, but they are, you know, amazing.
Well, that's what people are figuring out now, right? Because there's so many people that are just now first watching stuff from like the 80s and the 90s. We showcase a lot of it here, and people are like, I didn't know this existed. I didn't know this was so good. I didn't. I'm like, yeah, because you just, and that's what's always going to be the case. There's going to be, hopefully, 30 years from now, Pops is long gone probably, and people will be on the Googles and the internets and the YouTubes going, who are these guys talking about these movies with this crazy mouse lady? Like, what are they talking about? And they watch these movies, go, these people really knew what they were talking about. Yeah. They had a crazy chat too, by the way, which we'll get to because Dean Krantz is making a Yul Brynner reference. How can we not talk about that? McQueen is a bit of a diva, of course. When you're that big of a celebrity, yeah, he was trying to one up Brenner on set. We talked about that during the Magnificent Seven talk hard, yeah, but that was definitely commonplace back then, for sure. So, yeah, a lot of love for Ives. He was sad, but also brilliant. Get it? Sure. What is this? What is this? I worked with a lot of talent over the years being Steven Spielberg. Oh, cheers, dear Lord. Making more Steven. My beard's not quite right to have the Steven Spielberg. I look more like Richard Attenborough in Jurassic Park than I do that. So, just saying. Let's see. Fred's talking about the 80s arcade game called POW. Okay.
Yep.
You guys know about that? Okay.
We're gonna have to
Played
have
the
a
crap
cut
out
of,
of that back in the day in the arcade.
we're gonna have to have a cut of Jurassic Park with you putting your face into it as he's like showing off the park, and we cut away, and it's just a school of sharks. You're just like, look at my creations.
Sharks with lasers on their heads.
Da,
Because,
da, 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 da.
All right. You get that clip together for me. We'll play it. Let's see here. Watch the documentaries on Stalag. Yeah, I know that's Dean's really down the rabbit hole in this stuff. He knows it's really, really good or not. And I think we've talked about Great Escape before, Dean. And yeah, he's like, the book is just phenomenal. It takes you so much deeper than the movie even can. So yeah. Yeah.
I love the books, but I don't know if I can handle going deeper. That's one of the reasons I haven't watched a lot of the older war movies is I'm just too squishy. I want everybody to live. I want there to be no war. I just like, why do they gotta fight? Just be nice, guys. Let them go home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah. So let's get back to a couple photos here of some stuff that's chit about. I talked a little bit about just kind of the immersion of stuff. I want to also give some credit to Sturgis and the script or whatever of at least having people who would learn enough German to make it passable. Like, you know how they mean? Like, there's so many movies where they don't even try. There's so many movies that will just put subtitles in or vice versa. I love this movie. I'm so, yeah. If I have not watched this movie at a point in the year where we get to Memorial Day and Veterans Day and things like that, that's when these get played for sure, 100%. So, and this is one of the things I respect is the fact that they're trying to at least convey that even in the ranks of the Germans, you have this guy who's in charge of this prison camp. He's not really treating them that badly, and then ultimately, when they do escape, it costs him his life because that's where he's being wheeled away at the end of this movie too. So, I liked all these different elements for sure.
Well, he's Luftwaffe. He's their Air Force, and it's their responsibility because these guys are all Air Force.
Right.
Whether they're British Air Force, whether they're American Air Force, it's the Luftwaffe's job to look after them. And you get that little scene where the Gestapo like comes in and brings in Big X, and they're like, "You take care of them, otherwise we will." And he has to remind them. He reminds them they are our responsibility, not your responsibility.
Right.
And even they were dealing with a organization that's like, we'll see about that. You know, we'll see who can convince the Fuhrer. You just better remain in his good graces before we take over all of this and just ship him off to a factory they'll never return from.
Dean's also bringing a great point too. A lot of these men were actual veterans that actually had served. Bronson, of course, actually is an Air Force vet, and yeah, they kind of had a natural build for it. A swagger. I think he was in World War II, actually, right? Well, I think Bronson actually served. So yeah, it's definitely something that we take for granted. I think, and sometimes with modern film, and sometimes they don't. People go on these little boot camps with soldiers, but when you have men who've actually done it, the authenticity even comes through even more so, for sure. Another reference from Dean that I don't know about. I didn't know this one. So, screen where McQueen's tangled in the wire is an homage to Captain Charles Upham, holder of 2 Victorian crosses. Okay. Did you guys know anything about that? I did not know anything about that. Thank you, Dean. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, I see. Snorty is echoing what Loki had just said. So, thank you, Snorty. See that. All right. Favorite parts besides this? I mean, it's literally the dude doing his own stunts. Like, I mean, it doesn't get a whole lot better than this kind of stuff. And it's actually very scenic. It's on location. You can just feel he actually just knows how to ride. So you're watching all of his little movements and stuff. So besides that, any favorite parts?
I like the scene where Danny and the other guy, I can't remember his name, get on the boat and they start leaving and they're just kind of on the boat, and I like that I felt safe. Like I'm like, okay, for sure, hopefully these are the ones that are going to get away and they're going to be okay. It doesn't say anything. They get on that other boat
Yep.
afterwards, and I hope that was a safe boat, but
Yep.
it was so for the fact that, like, I cried at that point when Danny got out and started running and he saw the lake, just because all that he went through and being claustrophobic and struggling through that. Like, for him to see the lake and to get on that boat and just start rowing away, I was so proud of him, and I was I'm sorry, I'm gonna cry. I was so excited for him, like, and I don't know. And that's part of the movie's charm, is you do get so immersed. But I was just like, "Yay, Danny, you made it! You got out. You got to see the sun." Like, yeah. I'm sure there were other cool parts, but that was just like that made my heart happy.
I just wanted to say one that I actually always love this sequence, and you actually feel like he's actually okay. Holy cow, he actually has gotten away with it. And then the German officer is standing right behind him, and I'm like, oh, you got me. I did not see that coming. Ironcaster, what were your thoughts when all this was transpiring?
It's it's so heartbreaking having seen, having seen seeing the other guy who went and sacrificed himself just so he could get away, to ultimately see that sacrifice have gone to waste. It's just so heartbreaking, because he thinks he's finally gotten free, that everything wasn't for nothing. Everything we've sat through for these last 2.5 hours has been all building up to this great escape, all to have it come crumbling down in the end is so heart-wrenching. And while this entire sequence is going on, I'm sitting up in my seat. I'm just like excited, like, oh, are they gonna get away? Are they gonna get away? What's going on? Like, you can't help but love these characters, love the camaraderie. Like Henley and Blythe, for example, where he's going blind, and you've got Henley is offering to help him out. He's like, I'll go with him. I'll make sure he gets to safety. Mm-hmm. All the excitement that they get into just in this effort to try to get away.
Right.
And there they are.
Yeah. It is so good too. And you feel like, because he can't see, he didn't realize the danger he was in, or how to duck and hide, or just, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, one shot, and it's just, Yeah, it is rough. I don't cry every time, Squeeka, but I do get emotional. That counts. I don't know. I mean, no,
Oh,
it gets
I'm
me every time, but I
I'm
don't.
still getting emotional. Like just
I get it.
that's it. I can't talk the rest of the show. I made up for it with all the laughing last week.
That's true. Loki Dean brings up a great one. Um, Understanding the whole scene with McQueen in the cooler because he's throwing the ball against wall, meaning that he and they're not. I think it's just a really great way of sending that message to the audience, even if they don't realize that's what's happening.
They had to. Oh, I mean, okay, so you spend, like Ironcaster said, you spend 2.5 hours with these people. And you think, okay, they're out. They're going to make it. They're going to get away, and turn after turn after turn. Your heart's broken and you love these guys and you want them to get out. And what do you have after what they do to X and the rest of them that they were bringing back? What do you do after that? Well, the only thing you can do, you have Hilts go into the cooler and hit that ball like, here we go again. And you got to know some of these guys are going to make it and some of them aren't going to make it. But there is still hope, and they're still there, and they're still doing it. They're going to do the exact same thing all over again. So that hope is there. They had to give you something like that. They had to, after doing what they did, because that is heartbreaking. When they're sitting there and you see X, and he's, and they do what they do, that kills you. That about kills the entire mood of the movie until you see Hilts throw that ball at that wall. It's like, okay, here we go again. We're going to do it again because some of 2-3 of us may get away. Make it out, and it'll keep them busy, and they'll be spending all this resources trying to find us instead of fighting the war. It was all honor bound, and they lay it all out for you in the movie.
Yep. Speaking at Ironcaster, what were your thoughts on this premise that Snorty's bringing up? That even if they didn't succeed in escaping, they knew that part of the strategy was just to create chaos. And actually, I love that scene where he's explaining that's the soldier's duty. You're not expecting them to do anything other than their duty. Like how that's what they're going to do.
Well, I think that the facts that I've had after were like some 4 million, 5 million troops were like tied up in all this. And I get the point of it. And they did that. I mean, they accomplished their goal. Like they're forcing the Germans to fight a battle on another front, and that was the point. So I understand. I mean, it doesn't make the movie any easier. It doesn't make what happened with the Gestapo any easier. And you know that's what they went in knowing that was a possibility that they might have to sacrifice for what their goal is. But I like the fact that the movie lets you know this. Like it lets you know it's not just in vain. It's not just oh, oops, some died. Like it's like there's a point to all this. And I didn't catch the ball bouncing. Like I caught that he did it. I just didn't know what for. I was still caught up in the fact that what happened to X, so I didn't make it to the hopeful part because I was still really, really sad. But yeah, they do talk about that, and they even when they have that first meeting with the British air officer, the guy that's supposedly in charge, he's like really, steadfast about it. About like, you can tell me whatever you want. I'm not going to guarantee we're not going to try to break out. We have this obligation to do so, and this is who we are, and this is what we're going to do for our country. So just get ready.
Yep. They even let them know this is what we're going to do, and this is what we're honor bound to do. And yeah, absolutely.
And he even says it's part of, like, he has this little speech where he's like, I think he says it is part of our job to make sure that we give you the hardest time possible.
Mm-hmm. I think it's an angle that's not usually thought about. So, what do you think, Ironcaster? Was that something that I thought it was a very unique element from this film that I don't think it's kind of plays out in others for sure.
Well, a couple of thoughts I was having is, first and foremost, on the earlier question of the escape. there's 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 the hope in you, the audience, to think that they're going to be able to escape. They're going to be able to get back to the Allies, to pass on information so they can free all the other prisoners of war. There's that glimmer of hope there in that rest in you. But then there's the more realistic uh, hope, the more realistic result that at best they're just going to be able to tie them up. That they're going to force the Nazis to have to dedicate all these resources. They lay this out for you. It's not only that, as far as a realistic approach to this, the villains aren't made out to be these comic book villains like we've seen so many times in modern media, to where they're made out to be these either like incredibly incompetent or made out to be just complete fools. Here it's believable. They're smart, they're clever, they're going to come up with ways to trick you. We see this, like, have a safe trip. You know, it's such intelligent writing that makes the villains shine in their own way. That makes the heroes ultimately as beloved as they are.
Yeah, because we could just oppose that to like Hogan Heroes, which is the World War II equivalent of this as a comedy. It's like a TV show that's just comedic because the Yahtzees are incompetent. They don't realize that all this stuff's happening under their noses and that kind of thing. It's played for laughs and gags. So, yeah, great points. Very great points. Dean is explaining how that a lot of these escapes failed because they're in Germany. Escapes had no friends, nowhere to go. Where are you going to go? So, good point. And it's kind of one of those things where when I know the very first time I watched this, or definitely when it kind of really started to click more, you started to think about that, like, Lee, you're right. When I'm out of this boat, I better learn some more German than I know right now. And then, more importantly, is how you're going to figure out the lay of the land enough to figure out where to go to be safe, because everyone that harbors you is going to be put at risk, right? So, yeah, just great conceptually, and just tackling a very challenging element of the war that gets overshadowed with actual more physical conflict type things. This one's different, and I like that a lot. So.
Well, and I like the scene where he does find friends. That one guy in the cafe there he's hanging out, and they're like, you have a phone call, and there's not really a phone call for him, and they kind of duck behind the counter, and they help him out and give him a contact to help him get to Spain. Like, I did like the fact that he did find a friend. Like, there was little pockets of hope where it's like, oh, okay, maybe this is going to really work and this is doable. And
Yeah, he got lucky. He was the one who stumbled across the French resistance and just happened to be at the right place at the right time. He got lucky. So, Fred's bringing up another spoof. We talked about some of the other things. This one actually has, there's no surprise, there's a Simpsons one as well, where little baby Maggie was breaking out of daycare, a la similar to this, for sure. So, that's good stuff. Let's see here. But yeah, I wanted to head over to some other elements. I guess it would be remiss not to touch on, like, if there's a silly element in the movie, is the fact that they make hash, make some booze, make some moonshine. I guess when I would watch this, I always think about how Brits and others would never have any idea what they're talking about. Like, for us in America, we've grown up knowing moonshine was a thing. Like, it's just a thing. Like, I don't know. The idea that you would go overseas like that, they'd be like, what is this they're making? Why are they why are they buying all these potatoes? What are they doing? Like, these Americans are crazy and kooks. And then, of course, they drink it and they're like, whoa. Yeah. I don't know. It was good to also have some levity in the middle of the film, wasn't it?
I think that was one of my favorite scenes, was that initial bout where they're all like finally tasting it for the first time. All they could say is, "Wow."
You can do that. You can do that with a lot too. I mean, you can do that with apples. You can do anything sugary, oranges. You can make hooch from a lot of stuff.
you gotta do it right, and it's wow. You gotta get the wow. Like, you just took something harsh.
I'll be right back, guys.
Is that what
Apparently.
you're drinking? Or you drinking potato? Are you about to? Wow.
No, I'm not. But I'll be right back.
That's what I guess we need to drink or something. Loki's got to shake. It's not fair.
It's a method acting.
Y'all said shake, and I was like, ooh, shake.
Did you really, you cheater?
For the folks that are watching at
That's
home,
it. I
be sure
quit.
to, for the folks that are watching at home, be sure to take a drink every time we say shake.
Shake, shake.
Only
Give
if
me,
it's potato moonshine.
give me a
The word of the
chocolate chip.
day is shake. Ah!
I liked the fact that the camaraderie of like all of the different units and stuff. They kind of would laugh together and kind of just there wasn't any like animosity like I'm better than you or oh you're an American or you're an Irishman or you're you know what I mean? It's just like all right, we're all in here. They still grouped together, but they were like, all right, and like Hilts makes friends with Ives and they're having their little talk about jockeys and you know motorcycles and baseball and
And everybody's got their job. Everybody has it. They're like, okay, you're going to do this and you're going to make clothes and we're going to get
yeah,
you to forge papers and they know what their job. We're going to get you to scrounge. We need you to, scrounge stuff up. Hey, you dig the tunnel. And there is no bitching. There is no moaning. Well, maybe I could do. No, there is. Yep. Okay. I'm on it.
There's no internal conflict between our characters because the obvious enemy is at the gates. It has them surrounded. They are captured. There is but one goal:
to
escape.
grow potatoes.
To grow
Oh, sorry, I meant
potatoes.
escape.
That too.
My bad.
And apples. Apples and oranges.
I love that you guys started a drinking game while I was gone. Appreciate that very much.
That's-
Thought you'd appreciate it.
Potato.
You say
Boil 'em,
potato,
mash 'em,
I
stick 'em
say
in a stew.
potato.
Dude, that's right.
Stick 'em
Boil
in
'em back.
Bill.
Just some fun behind the scene photos, man.
I
I
really
was,
thought he made it. I was so excited. I was like, he jumped the fence. He's now in Switzerland.
That
I was
damn
so excited.
that damn bike, man. I just did that's I would like play on the ground and as a kid and wait for that part of the movie because that's what I was interested in. And it wouldn't be until I was like a teenager and older, maybe in high school, that I watched it. And I was like, holy crap, this is like one of the coolest movies I've ever seen. And I loved it. And you just everything about that picture is great. Everything about this movie is great. Steve McQueen could be a diva all he wants to. Holy crap, man.
yeah.
The man has earned it.
Yeah. Again, it's just, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the ladies were going crazy for these kind of shots back in the day, man. I'm telling you. So, on all the marketing, 16 minutes, man. 16
He doesn't
minutes.
have a beard.
No, they didn't have beards. Didn't have beards. Though the promotion material was just so odd on this film, too. It's just odd how they had these sheets like this. This was not as common. I forgot to talk about Werner. Poor Werner. Dude was taken advantage of.
It's almost like a high school yearbook.
Yeah, isn't that weird how it's just a different kind of promotion? They just didn't have this back in the day for most films, but it's, Sturgis. Got to give Sturgis credit, man. Sturgis knows he knew how to do it, man. He knew how to deliver.
So now I want to give them all awards, like most likely to succeed, most likely to
Get to
crash
France.
a motorcycle, most likely to get to France.
James Garner. There's McQueen. It's a little cup. Steve.
Steve.
This
In
is
case
Steve.
somebody took his cup.
Oh, you wouldn't take that cup. That cup's probably on eBay.
Now watch me. Oh my God.
I did love the
Steve,
license plates on the little on the motorcycles, like the way the curve. I love those little plates. Those are so cool.
I like that. Yeah, there's lots of these. These are prints. It's like, yeah, they do have a little bit of a yearbook feel about them, don't they?
And yeah, it was a triumph, Snorty. I do know that because I did a lot of research on that bike. Yeah, it was a triumph.
Oh, I see Snorty's comment here. Yep. All right, let's see. Keep going. Yeah, they had one for everybody. On set with Sturgis. Look at them referencing the book.
Oh wow.
That's a great image right there. Ironcaster, we gotta love that. Look at that. That's what we all want right
That's
there.
what we all want.
That's what we all want.
I wonder if they did read the book before because of
Oh,
the way they
Sturgis did.
act.
Oh,
Well, even
Sturgis
the
did.
actors, like because of the way they act, I wonder if they did read the book beforehand, just to kind of get a feel for it.
Oh, I have to imagine it would have been required reading to be in this movie.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to. Loki might have more familiarity with some of the documentaries and stuff that they have on this to tell you. Usually, the actors and stuff in those interviews, sometimes they'll tell you. It depends. But the fact that the director and the star is there referencing the book is what we all want. That's what we all want. This is why Halo went awry. This is why so many shows go awry. It's just they don't do this anymore.
They don't want to. They don't want to tell that story.
No,
They want to do their own. It's hubris. It's sheer epping hubris, to quote the worst season of Star Trek in existence. That they don't want to do the story that was written. They want to do their own story in that world instead of just doing a new story, because no one will care about the new story they want to come up with. They want to piggyback off of something that somebody else did, but they don't want to do what that person did. They don't want to represent that. They want to do it their way and make it their story instead.
La Grande Fuga. Look at that one. That's wild, isn't it?
Oh, I love it. There's just it's abstract. It's super abstract. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. This is the image that I always remembered seeing because that was what was on the VHS tape.
Yep.
This one's really good. I like that one a lot. That was pretty cool.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's a darker version, black and white of it. This one was interesting. It's a VHS collector version that would have come out later. They put these silver bars on them. I remember when this came out. There's another one of the iconic versions of the VHS tape. This one's weird too because it doesn't look like Steve McQueen.
Will Ferrell as Steve McQueen.
Yeah.
Ironcatcher, I can put my face on that one. It'll like more believable for sure. So, yeah.
No, Loki's face goes on the motorcycle shots. Your face can go on this one right here.
No, I would be I'd be the Richard Attenborough character for sure. Yeah, these are good stuff, man. It's fun. It's fun looking at how the marketing has changed over the years. You pick that box up though, Loki. You gotta be like, wait, is that Steve McQueen? Because that does not look like Steve McQueen like at all. I have no idea what they've done.
Franken-Steve.
It's crazy.
It almost looks like painted on.
Yeah, like they weren't allowed to use his likeness or something, and they just found some sort of weird drawing.
I love that shower scene where they're like, "What are you doing?" "I'm getting clean." "What are you doing?" "I'm watching him." Like, and they were like, "What?"
Why are you watching it?
I'm a lifeguard.
Yeah, just great stuff. But yeah, I knew when I was watching it today, when I got to the end, I was like, yeah, SQUEEKA's crying at this point. Yeah, it's got to be rough. It's going to be rough.
I did cry.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep very much. I confess, I had nightmares. But that's just because I get sad and like, they're not bad nightmares. I just recount things when I sleep. So I'm like, oh, I wanted them to get away.
I'm not sure what's going to happen next week. We might have you traumatized. I'm a little stressed now.
Oh
Like
no
I
no
don't.
no! Don't be stressed. Don't be stressed. I overthink a lot.
Wow.
I'm a hyperthinker. Yeah, it's just
Oh dear
yeah.
Lord, Snorty. My gosh, dude.
I'm gonna write a book now. I was reading that earlier. I'm gonna write a book now. I'll sell it to all the lefties. And,
We could just do an AI. We could just do an AI story of that, Loki. Put it like on a pink cover with the rainbow thing on it. Oh my god, it would sell. We just laugh ourselves to the bank, brother. Throw it together in about 40 minutes.
I'm gonna write a book about teachers escaping schools because that's what it feels like some days in May. We're like, just dig us a tunnel out of here. We're gonna get out eventually.
And I will say, Ironcaster, you had to be. I don't know if we lost him or not. I don't see his little icons up, but I was like, I just wanted to see the Ironcaster expressions as this intrigue is sort of building through all these different scenarios and scenes. They're all getting captured. What's going to happen? It's done so well because of the train scene that you know that the stakes are so high, things could go sideways at any moment.
Well, and they did things like this where they told them the code word and they got their tickets
Mm-hmm.
looked at and everything was fine. So they like led you on to think everything was fine, and then they put them in this room, and then they put them in that. I can't. You
In the
know what
truck.
happens.
Yeah.
Put them on the truck.
Go on the truck. And they get you again with the truck because the characters themselves get off the truck, not realizing what's going to happen. And he says, this is maybe the happiest I've ever been. Like, I've actually feel like, yes, we didn't get out, but, we accomplished our goal for, the goal's sakes. And then, they hear the sound of the gun and they know. And it's like, oh, man, at least, I don't know, even, I guess, I don't know, Ironcastle. Isn't it more scarring that they just don't show you anything? Like they just cut away, similar to Seven Samurai, where it's just like go to an image that just lets you know what happens. I think it's so much more powerful.
Oh, it absolutely is, because at the end of the day, the most powerful thing they could do is not show you, because your imagination is gonna start filling in the blanks. You know what happened. You hear the guns. You can already picture the bodies being piled up.
And they lifted this scene too off of this movie. There's other movies that they've done this in. They did this the season 2 finale of Battlestar Galactica, where he was like, "Let them get out and stretch their legs," and then they just like you see the things coming to gun them down, and you're like, "They just took that off The Great Escape.
Mm-hmm.
They just stole that. It's one of the
What?
most iconic scenes in movie history. You stole it."
And the hard part too is they just show you the part where like X is talking, and then they get to the back to the prison, and there's like 50 names, and you're like 50, like you don't realize there's 50 people in that truck, and you're like, I mean, it would have been not a good thing if there'd only been like I think that you kind of glance at it and that you're kind of looking at the truck and the stuff, and you think, okay, maybe like 15 to 20. It's kind of okay. And there's like 50 people on the the death register. And it's just like, yeah.
Well, it's also one of the things that the commandant at the prison is trying to avoid, and that's why he tells them what he tells them. And X knew. We talked about that earlier. X knew. He said, "Hey, it's our responsibility. We're honor bound to try and escape, and keep y'all busy, so that maybe that saves a guy in the air's life. Whatever it is, you guys are looking for us instead of looking for someone who just got shot down. It's their responsibility to do that." And he warned them, I might not be able to stop them if the Gestapo comes back and wants to deal with it their way. He tried, and it just goes. I'm not saying he's a good guy at all, so don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it showed that they were dealing with their own internal politics and their own little war between themselves at the time too, because he didn't want that to happen. He saw it the way they saw it, but also there wasn't anything he could do about it either.
Nope.
Well, everyone wants to revision history that they would be on the right side of this, but they're not the ones that would, having their life and all of their family members, put in harm's way. So yeah, uh, yeah, I just every little element in this movie I enjoy rewatching. I just take a pause and think about, like you were saying earlier, Squeeka, and I guess you had some love for it as well. Just the ingenuity of it all, the genius it takes to come up with the contraptions and how they do things. And they're all professionals. They're all the experts, right? That's what Loki, you were saying earlier about all the bad eggs in one basket. It's like, yeah, these are the A tier experts in forgery and construction and scrounging and all the different things that you need to pull this off. Just
They're,
brilliant, though.
they're the mischief makers. They're
Yeah.
all the troublemakers. And then you're gonna put them in one place. Oh, you're asking for trouble.
But then you wonder what's going to happen when they're killed. You wonder to yourself, like, who's going to take their place? Like, is there? I'm sure there's people that have worked under them or what have you that might be able to step up and do their things. But even at the beginning of the movie, they were like, "Hey, is Big X here?" Before he appeared. So it does leave you wondering, like, what are they going to do now? Because a lot of the heavy hitters are gone.
Hmm. But I think that goes to, like, they're sending Hilt back to the cooler, right? And he's got his ball and glove. Here, Hilts. And it's like, okay, the battle will just continue. And yeah, it's traumatizing that they've lost, 50 compatriots, but reality is back to it. We'll figure out a way to be disruptive, try to escape, cause some chaos, those kinds of things that we were doing before.
Well, even with that, it's like, yeah, we lost 50, but they didn't get them all.
Right. Beautiful behind the scene photo here as well, by the way, with Charlie there on the right. I like that one a lot.
Oh, Danny made me. Oh,
Long before
would
Death
collapse
Wish. Oh,
when it would collapse, and like that one part at the end where they relight the lights go out for a little bit, and he's in the middle of the tunnel, and they light the little candles, and oh, Danny.
yeah, I think she likes her Bronson, I think. What do you think, guys?
It has nothing to do with Bronson. I don't care who the role was. It's nothing to do with Bronson. It's 100% just the character himself, like just the little guy. And I mean, Bronson did great, like with the facial expressions, and you don't see that part of him until you learn about it because he's just so sure of himself.
So what I'm hearing is we need to watch Death Wish.
Oh, it's on the list. I wrote it down just to make sure when would be the good time to watch it.
You guys aren't gonna make her watch the original Death Wish. Please tell me you guys are.
Why not?
What's wrong with it? Is it bad? Is it a bad movie?
No, it's just like the stuff that happens to his family and the
It's
stuff they
nuts.
show you
Yeah, it's crazy.
is, man.
Yeah, I don't know
But-
that I can make her
but-
have those kind of nightmares. I'm actually worried about
Loki-
iRobot next week because we're in the middle of an AI boom. It's like, what have I done? I may have actually just kept
Oh
her
no,
up.
I didn't. It's not like that. I'm just saying, like I overthink things. So especially when it's a really good movie, like that's just a testament to like how well it was done and how well the actors portrayed. Like because you felt there, you felt the kinship with them. You like, you could watch like Ironcaster saying. There's so much that comes up about this point in history because it is so big, it is so massive, and there are some things that you're just like, whatever, it's World War II again. But there's some things that they really get you, and you're like, oh, it's a different part of World War II. It's the important part of World War II, and that's what's so great about this movie is it's not just another war movie. This is the important part of World War II. This is the human part, what they went through, like who they were and what was really going on. It's not just people using this as a trope or another overtold storyline. So it's not a matter of like, don't be worried about me. It's just I overthink, I overfeel. It was just a really great movie. Sorry, I'm crying again.
I don't think you have anything to apologize for. I think we would all have to admit, I know I do, when you have a profound experience with a movie that's so great and impactful and you can't stop thinking about it, That's when it's something. I mean, it's something special, and it can be. It doesn't even have to be something that can be as intense as obviously the finale of this movie. It's just like there can be things that you just can't get out of your head. You just like, wow. It's. I think that is part of the beauty of cinema that sometimes uh, other elements of entertainment can't do, and we aren't getting that in the last probably 10 years, 15 years. I forget about the last 5, but definitely it's last decade or so. It's very few and far between. That's for sure. So I get more profound
Nothing,
response with watching Sisu than I did most things.
and nothing like this.
No, nothing.
Nothing.
Like this. No.
Yeah, not in 10, 15 years.
Yeah, Top Gun Maverick I think has a nice residual effect on people because it made you feel very patriotic. It gave you a very it gave you like almost like a high. You know what I mean? I think that was the general consensus from a lot of people that came out of that movie. I think a big negative feeling similar to this would be the people that watched the Sound of Freedom movie. Like, oh my God, there's just kicked you in the feels kind of gut kind of feeling. People that came away watching that movie. So that's when it's done right because it's something special. That's you took something home.
Is that an older movie like this?
No, you're not allowed to watch that movie. No, we're not watching
What?
that. I'm not going to be responsible for the scars that you get from that. That's all on Beard. He can be responsible for deciding if you're ever going to watch that movie. Holy crap!
I'm not that fragile, guys. I'm
Ooh,
a
it's
tough
pretty
cookie.
rough.
I'm a really tough cookie.
Yeah, I know you are. But
Don't laugh at me, Loki.
look, you agree with my assessment, though, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's why when I was like, you want to let her watch Death Wish? I was like,
yeah, I know.
No, I'm
I'm
a tough cookie. I don't understand.
But Loki,
I've seen some
she gets
things.
it. But Loki, she gets to see Jeff Goldblum in his first role.
She doesn't know
No.
who Jeff Goldblum is. She didn't care about Jeff Goldblum.
I like Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, she's going to get to see what happens to Jeff Goldblum then. Okay.
Dean Krantz shot me down watching The Sound of
He
Freedom.
gets away.
Yeah.
Guys, I swear I'm a hardened criminal. I'm a tough cookie.
I'm a hardened criminal. Good luck.
Yeah.
I want to see that T-shirt. Trust me, I'm a hardened criminal. The little mouse logo right there just says underneath it. I'm a hardened criminal.
There's like a rainbow and a unicorn.
That's
I
hysterical.
do have a lot of rainbows around my classroom because I like them. Not for an agenda. I just like rainbows.
All right. Squeeky, you're allowed to do it. You do it so often, and you always try to apologize for doing it. You give movies 10s, but I'm going to let you score this movie first.
Oh, definite 3 because there's no Yul Brynner.
a 3 out of 10 or a 3 out of 5?
3 out of 100 because there's no Yul Brynner. I'm kidding.
Man, I'm going to get for Christmas. Someone's got to send her a Yul Brynner poster she can put on the ceiling.
I'm kidding. I mostly like Yul Brynner not because of the movies he's in, because of the One Night in Bangkok song. Because I really like Chess too, and that's one of my favorite songs. So that's the first time I ever knew of Yul Brynner, and then I was like, oh, he's a real person because I saw King and I.
You've watched several movies with us.
Now I know, and I'm like, wow, mind blown. He is actually cool. But yeah, I mean, I really want to say this is a really awesome movie, and it's great, and it did make me cry like a whole lot, and I didn't break Beard's hand, thankfully. But I mean, it is a 10. I'm gonna give it a 10. I know people are gonna be like, oh well, but it could have done this, or maybe it's an older movie, and it's a 10 for me just because it says so much about what was going on at the time. It's so human. It's the storyline itself is great. You have hope, then you don't, then you do. It's just these people amaze you with their perseverance and ingenuity. Like it's so well done. I mean, the only complaint I had about it at the beginning, well, other than the fact that not everybody survived and they were at war to begin with, but was the fact that they didn't start off talking German, which I thought was kind of weird. When they were like with themselves and talking to the German officers were talking. But at the same time, I know this was a movie made in 1963. Closed captioning necessarily wasn't a thing possibly back then. So it was just like, we want audiences to understand what's going on, so we're going to kind of just mix some German in. So I even understood why they did it that way. But it's just, I, I think this is better than Magnificent Seven in a lot of ways. Just
Yeah. Okay. Let's get to that. Ironcaster, first time watch for you. What do you think, man?
This isn't just a good war movie. It is a good movie. It is a great movie. This is one of those films that is deservedly so on many a you must see this before you die list. What can be said about The Great Escape that hasn't been said before? It's essential watching. This is easily a 10.
Yeah.
This is the 5-star movie.
My brother.
We are there. We have arrived. We can have a consensus on scoring a movie as a perfection. Yeah, this doesn't get to happen very often, folks. SQUEEKA, it's okay. This actually is superior to Magnificent Seven. Magnificent Seven does have some lulls and some little bumps along the way that kind of makes it more like a 9. It makes it a little, but again, this is perfection, and definitely for an epic. I'm so weirded out by people who critique the movie as less than perfect, and it's usually something silly like, for some reason, they just didn't get the characters. They just didn't, something. There's some sort of weird thing people don't get this movie. I don't know, Loki. You and I've been watching this movie probably for 20 years, appreciating it more than anyone that we know. Like it's kind of an odd film that some people they don't even know about. So, yeah.
Yeah, and this isn't just, I mean, Spielberg can suck it. This isn't just the best World War II movie. This is the best war movie of all time. Nothing comes close to this movie as far as any kind of war movie. This is the if you hate war movies, this is the war movie you're not gonna hate. Don't worry about saving private douchebag. Don't worry about any of that other stuff.
Wow.
This is the movie you want to watch.
the movie tells you about the war without it being gory.
Exactly, and gives you a sense of what these guys, the lengths these guys would go to. We're gonna go to any length to get out of here, and we're gonna do it the best way we can, that we don't get killed. And you see what happens. They're not stupid. These are pilots. These are engineers. These are thinkers. These are tinkers. These are the guys that get in all kinds of trouble every single night they go out. And you see all of that in the movie, and you learn all of that in this movie. In 2.5 hours. You can't. How could you tell me, okay, you are going to be introduced to these group of characters, and 2.5 hours later, your heart's going to break when you find out what happens to them? That you've known these guys for 2.5 hours, and your heart will break at the end of this movie. It doesn't get any better than that. It doesn't get any cleaner than that. 10 out of 10. I think we're all going to go 10 out of 10.
I had 3.
I am gonna you and your 3. I am a 10 out of 10. I do vehemently disagree with Loki about Saving Private Ryan, though. I adore Saving Private Ryan. It literally made me weep in the theaters. I like for the Normandy scene was like it crushed me.
Oh no.
It crushed me, and I adore that movie. It is.
I'm not downing Saving Private Ryan.
Yes, you were. You called him.
No. I'm saying that it doesn't come close to this. Is what I'm saying. Dude, that opening scene of that movie's great, but Steven Spielberg, as much as he did he did Schindler's List, he did Saving Private Ryan, he did all these war epics, he can't beat this.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just going to vehemently disagree with you. I adore. I don't care for Schindler's List as much. I don't find it rewatchable, and I definitely don't think there's any rewatchability or anything like for War Horse and some of his other war movies. But Saving Private Ryan is special, and I do have the same emotional gut punch reaction when the Vin Diesel character and Elliot from E.T. and everyone else bites it, man. Everyone. So, but That
See,
doesn't
I'm
mean I hate Great Escape. It just means I can like both, and I think
I,
that's the
I'm
goal.
with Loki on this. I've seen Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, my dad was a World War II movie guy, and I've seen Saving Private Ryan. But I don't know why we didn't watch this one. But and I've not ever watched Saving Private Ryan again. It's not been on my radar again. But I would watch this one again. I would torture myself with this one again, and not torture in a bad way because it's a bad movie. But I mean, it's just that kind of a story. It's a story that needs to be remembered. It's just to me, Saving Private Ryan was, yes, a good movie, and there were moments where you probably don't want to see people get killed. But in this movie, it's not. Like I said, it's just there's just so human. There's so little exposition and so much storytelling with faces and actions and the things that occur. Like I just agree with Loki. It's way better than Saving Private Ryan.
Okay. I do have a question for everybody though. I wanted to get to before we run out of time. This is probably the most criminally ignored Oscar movie. Do you know how many Oscar nominations it had, Ironcaster, without looking? It only had one nomination, and it won nothing.
Really?
Absolutely insane. It got nominated only for editing.
Wow.
And
What did it go up against?
the movies that it won, the movies that won the big awards in 1964 are movies that I don't know, Loki, you might have seen. I don't know. Things like How the West was nominated for Best Picture. HUD was a big movie for the time. I've never watched HUD either. But yeah, most of the movies that were nominated, I've never, and I don't really have any desire to watch them. They're not really the movies that anyone talks about decades later. The only movie on the list that won an Oscar that I really watch regularly is called "It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World," which is just a comedy. So I don't understand why that.
I wonder if that's just a sign of the times. Like I wonder if
It
there were
was.
A little
other
bit,
movies of war, but it also wasn't that like 63 was when Kennedy died.
yeah,
63 was Vietnam going on and things like that. So
yeah.
I wonder if it was just a matter of we don't want to celebrate a war movie, and that's kind of what happened. I wonder if it was just a sign of the times and not necessarily the
Yeah,
quality.
reviewers at the time thought it was just too long, and they also felt that it was not appropriate to be like sort of like soft, if you will, like sort of um there's no blood, there's no sex, there's no whatever. That's how these people think. You know what I mean? They're nuts. So
Were you
just
there for the shower scene? Obviously, there was.
They were
yeah.
already. It just shows Hollywood was already going kind of.
Well, they have these years that are like that. There's every few years, if you go back in history, it's not like Hollywood's like a douchebaggery now. It's just that there's been years where Star Wars didn't win. Like Star Wars didn't win. Like it's complete. There's sort of things that just don't make any sense. This is just one of those years where it's really bad. Like the movie list that won awards that year, it's sort of like tragic, and it's just a shame. And that's what's gonna happen from time to time when people just take setbacks and. Yeah, the
But I
60s and the 70s are odd in that way. They don't have the greatest legacies that lines up with what history said about them. So just very strange to me. I just thought it was worth throwing out there.
Again, I wonder if it was because they're more idealistic movies, more fantastical kind of, utopian thoughts, and that's kind of what they wanted to promote more so at the time.
The movies that won are not those kind of movies.
Well, How the West Was Won or Cleopatra, or I
Yeah,
mean,
those are
some of
kind of
these,
epics and stuff, but
but
Cleopatra
they
sure
also,
cleaned up. Oh,
but they also seem kind of fantastic. Like they're not online with what's going on in history at the time. There's not. They can basically people can use those movies as an escape.
that's true, I
Whereas a movie
suppose.
about war,
But Eight and a
especially
Half won a bunch of stuff, and it's just a film, just a nerdy foreign film thing. It's just them
that's what I'm saying. I
smelling
wonder if
their own
they were
farts.
escapes.
Yeah.
They were just escape movies. That's what I meant, like fantastical and such, like more utopian and escape kind of movies that they were just kind of focused on rather than, um, like I said, the war itself.
We just think they suck. I'm just gonna be honest. I'll say it for everybody else. They suck. This movie is great. It is a 10. I get it. I'm okay to have multiple 10s, even in the war
It was
genre.
also that it was also that era in which Hollywood was all about the epic. That was the
Yeah.
whole thing at the time, because Cleopatra was on here, and that was a colossal bomb at the time because audiences had already moved on by this point.
That was the most expensive movie to date. Was Cleopatra when it came out.
Have any of you ever watched HUD? I mean, obviously, someone like Dean Krantz is going to tell us all about HUD, but I've never watched it. It's a Paul Newman Western. I've just never watched it.
No, I've never even heard of it until today.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ironcaster, let's start with you, my friend. Mech Monday went great. Good, fun time.
Yep,
My only uplifting spirit of yesterday into today was having some Mech Monday, so I appreciate you for that. Thank you.
How did you get trapped in Castlevania?
Oh, I have my ways. I jumped into a painting. I thought it was Super Mario, and I wound up here. I have had to fight off bats and Medusa heads.
Can you turn into mist?
No, but
How are you with
do
whips?
This.
Oh, it's raining outside.
How are you with whips?
Whips? What? Where are we taking this?
Well, it's in
Castlevania.
He has.
I found some wall meat the other day.
All right. But yeah, we're good.
Yeah, no, yesterday, the Mech Pit chat yesterday, we were talking about the 30th anniversary of Gundam Wing, which really changed a lot of stuff here in the West when that did premiere. That sort of helped open up the doors for anime to the more mainstream.
Very cool. I've been down the Robotech rabbit hole with my grandson. So we've been watching Robotech together. Star Blazers, which is Space Yamada, and that got me to Robotech, so we've been watching those. So little mech love in this corner of the universe from us.
Oh, I don't know how you feel about subtitles, but I would recommend Space Pirate Captain Harlock.
Yeah, he can't do subtitles yet, but I appreciate the recommend. He's 10, so we'll ease into subtitles. When I say Space Yamada, I'm talking about what it's based on. We actually watched the Star Blazers version, which is obviously the kids' version, but it's okay. It's close enough. We're getting there. He's getting to love with them, and that's the important thing. He loves robots. He loves spaceships. He loves sci-fi. That's the key.
That first original season of Gundam with Amuro Ray, that should be that's translated, and that I don't remember anything adult, and it is giant robots. Pew pew.
So 2 things on that. First, the new series, Mobile Suit Gundam GQs, premiered on Amazon Prime today. So there's a brand new series out.
More Gundam.
And also, for anyone who's in the more movie inclined, apparently there's rumors that Sydney Sweeney might be getting involved in this live action Gundam movie.
Well, there we go. Loki, my friend, what's going on with you? We got a big weekend review planned up for us?
Yeah, we got weekend review. Should be 2 videos out tomorrow about Nintendo and their entire oh, your poor ass can't afford one? Well, that's why there's a Switch remark they made earlier today.
For anyone who wants to play, for anyone who can't afford the new system, try the Xbox 360.
Try the old one. I mean, that's just wow. That takes a special kind of patho.
Wow, did they really say that?
Oh yeah, hell yeah,
they
did.
Lack of self-awareness with that statement. It was really odd. I was like, wait, is that right? I thought the headline was clickbait. I got to be honest. When I saw the headline, I was like, wait, what on earth? Yeah,
I went the extra mile. I sold my Nintendo stock. I'm like, I'm done.
I don't know, man. I might get rid of my Switch now. I don't know. It's just interesting the dumb shit that they are doing, and there's more news. So you'll get 2 Nintendo videos tomorrow. We got the weekend review coming up. We got multiple videos coming out through the week, and of course Friday night, late night that I can never get Pops to come on.
I'm not up that late, brother.
He's out. He's like,
it starts at like
"Oh."
11 o'clock my time. Are you kidding?
Like,
If I'm up at 11 o'clock, I'm probably in emergency room or possibly jail. Like it's I have a Nintendo video coming out tomorrow as well, discussing the live action Zelda movie. I know. Yeah.
Oh, the one with Zendaya and
They haven't cast that yet, but yeah, Nintendo's partner with Sony though, which I think is just really
it'll be Zendaya and it'll be
I know. Well, you can tell by my thumbnail. If
the Mando.
you
It'll
tell
be
by my
Mando.
thumbnail my thoughts on it. So yeah. SQUEEKA, we're gonna have you chasing some zombies again and making you laugh and giggle because that makes my day.
Arg.
I don't know that there's some changes going on with Beard and stuff, so I know that he's settling into some things, and we may pick up another game. Like we found this cute little science astronaut one called Astroneer. I don't know if anybody's heard of it, but it looks cute. But yeah, we may start that up again. I know that I've got a couple more episodes with the Eclectic Goat next Monday, and then the Monday, it's like every other Monday, so it's like the 8th, the 11th, and the 20 something or other 8th or something, or no, the 14th and the 28th. We're doing Carnival shows you've never seen, so I know that we've got a couple more of those left. But other than that,
I love season 1. It started to get really crazy and wild and off the rails after that, though. But
season 1 is crazy. Talk about nightmare fuel. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why I signed up for that. It's great. It's a great show. It's really interesting. But I was like, wow, this is wild.
Agreed.
But and if I don't sleep through Friday nights, I'll hang out with Loki. I was sick on Friday, so I had every intention of like, I'm just gonna jump in there. And then I like woke up on Saturday and I was like, oh,
I'm just gonna pre-record segments for Loki's late night show. Just saying pre-recorded segments.
Disney Papa's in there. But yeah, I kind of just drifting and hanging out with you guys, and then like I said, I hang out with Goat on Mondays because we're gonna finish the season out. But right now, just kind of coasting until summertime hits, and that way Loki will bring back his morning shows, and I'll do morning shows. Just kidding. Since I'll be off during the morning, I know that's what he's waiting.
That's what it makes. That's what it takes.
I'm kidding, Loki. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I have a hot comic video again tomorrow. I got 4 or 5 of those now, so it's been kind of fun, interesting to see how those play out over time. And then, of course, I have that Nintendo video, some other stuff coming out before the Friday Popcast, and first time watch video this week. Some good stuff, some fun stuff. So, all the reviews. I think my Daredevil review was today. Catch everybody up on that. I think Reacher review, I got that coming out later this week as well. Thoughts on that? So yeah, the next week we're doing iRobot. I don't know, all this AI stuff. Thought we should try to squeeze in some of that kind of topic from time to time. So
I'll miss The Accountant. I haven't seen that one yet. Well, not that I've seen any of these movies. Let's be honest, but
yeah, The Accountant's going to be a fun one. There's supposed to be a sequel at some point. I don't know. They keep saying it's coming. We'll see. They did at least tease.
I'll still watch the movie. I just won't be able to be here.
Yeah. All right. We'll definitely miss you. That's for sure. So. In chat, you guys are amazing. You guys are amazing out there. Comments, just wonderful participation from you guys. Wonderful insights from folks. We can't do this without you, man. We'd love having you guys here, and all you people are out there supporting us and being here with us each and every week and supporting our channels and just everything we do. We just really love you and thank you for that. So hopefully the rest of your week goes well, folks. You guys can be blessed, and don't let it get you down. Just talk hard. And if you're down a little bit, just throw on one of our videos. Just throw one of them out there. Just saying, Karate Kid, Ong Bak. Just pick a movie that you're like, I should watch this and watch Talk Hard about it. I'm telling you, maybe you'll smile at least a couple times. So that's my strategy. So
Shark Side of the Moon, Kung Fu.
No,
don't watch
no,
that.
no,
not that one. Not the Street Fighter one either. But the other ones will make you smile and laugh. So anyway, folks, you guys take care. Chill with Bob Ross a little bit. Head out the door. Talk to you next week.
Take care.
Bob Ross, you'll never see me tripping. Got the vision, I don't even need assistance. Bob Ross.